And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that excited me, and hopefully excites you on this Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully everybody's enjoying Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you're in the thick of it. Hopefully your weather's better than mine. Storms, tornadoes, you name it, coming through my area this week. Destroyed lawn furniture, all will rebuild. But unfortunately for me, I have to pay about $2,000 to get a tree cleaned up. My huge giant tree in my front yard. Storms took that bad boy down. I couldn't believe it. Just missed my car by about a foot, so I guess I'm fortunate on that. But man, hard times having to pay $2,000 to get a tree removed. Man, what are we doing in this day and age? But it is what it is. A lot of people had it a lot worse in my area. There's no doubt about it. So small victory, I guess, is what I'll say on that one there. But an interesting week. Of course, in action figure news and storm news this week. But we'll do a little housekeeping as we dive into the toy news. Of course, Patreon giveaway the month of May. We're in the thick of it right now. It is Rowdy Roddy Piper, the Monday Night Wars. Just a couple more days to get in on this one. Hit up the Patreon, link in the description down below. Sign up, and you can have a chance at winning this one as the Patreon giveaway. We'll have a new giveaway for June, of course, but Patreon, best place to support the channel, all the content it brings. You also get early access to all the videos from both YouTube channels. You get a monthly Q&A, monthly giveaway. You get all kinds of glamour shot images from every video we do, plus pizza reviews, dog stuff, you name it. It's all over there on the old Patreon. Appreciate the support on the Patreon channel. And of course, don't forget my book, the old complete guide to the Jakks Class Superstars series, for sale right now, Barnes & Noble and Amazon. A perfect Father's Day gift. There you go. There you go. But let's dive into it. We got a lot of news to cover, and it's the weekend. It's a holiday weekend. We got to zip through this. We got things to do. We got barbecues to go to, right? Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But let's start it off with some AEW figure news, and a lot of AEW figure news this week, and no Mattel news this week. So an interesting week of as far as news releases here. But we did see on Friday 2 brand new AEW figures. The first one, ringside collectible exclusive, first time in the line, Jay White. We're getting Jay White as a ringside collectible exclusive. Should make a lot of fans happy. Looking for a Jay White figure, of course, but a lot of New Japan fans, you name it. So we're going to get Jay White, his first ever AEW Jazzwares figure, up on Ringside Collectibles right now. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%, as we always do say. We also saw AEW Target exclusive pay-per-view series. This was leaked a few weeks ago, but now it's up for pre-order. Pre-order was immediately sold out, so as of filming this, I'm not sure if the pre-order actually did even go up or if it's went up since. Not too concerned about that one. Bryan Danielson's everywhere at the Targets around me, so I would assume the same with this one, but it is Britt Baker. So Britt Baker going to be next in that pay-per-view series, so if you're after those, she's going to be a Target exclusive. We also saw the Collect Forever. That keeps on going. We've seen Sting, CM Punk, Britt Baker. Now, Kenny Omega comes to the Collect Forever line. He is up for sale right now. 1 of 1,000 on that one. These are way better in hand than I anticipated them to be, but they're not going to be for everybody, as we do know. But if you're after that Kenny Omega, you know where to go. And we're not done with the AEW news. We got our next Vault release at the end of May. I believe it's the 29th. Of course, Jazzwares Vault, shout out to them. We are getting Danhausen. So Danhausen, no shortage of AEW Danhausen figures. Going to get the most out of the mold. If they ever did, it'll be a guy like Danhausen. But it's a Ring of Honor version of Danhausen, which not a lot of us think of Ring of Honor with Danhausen, but he kind of got his big start there, I guess you could say, in a lot of ways. So we got Danhausen coming. And then we got a 3-pack, the Death Triangle 3-pack. That one was solicited long ago. Finally get that one with the 6-man championship belts for the first time ever, I do believe in that one. So the Vault coming up hot, $5.29. Get those two. And I do like it. And a monthly subscription type thing is what it almost feels like. The old G.I. Joe classified series, or not classified series, 25th anniversary series. Get my Joe lines mixed up. Every month they had 2 figures, part of a subscription thing. That's kind of what this Vault is doing, or an old Matty collector. I'm here for this. I like this. So it is pretty fun so far. We'll await June. Have to imagine the Briscoes will probably be part of the June one. We'll see what happens there. And then some follow-up. We talked about these U2s, these like Funko type figures here from AEW. We got pictures a couple of weeks ago. Now we know what they are. It is Chris Jericho. It is Tony Storm. It is Orange Cassidy. Those are going to be the first 3 out there. So if those are your thing, they're coming very soon. Not going to be for me, of course, there. So a lot of AEW stuff this week to talk about. And like I said, no Mattel stuff, surprisingly enough, on this Memorial Day weekend. But now we turn our attention to Masked Republic, the Boss Fight Studios, Masked Republic, Legends of Lucha Libre. We've unboxed a lot of these figures over the last couple, I guess, years at this point. We unboxed the MLW line as well. But we did see the Legends of Lucha Libre. We got Vampiro coming. A lot of people looking for a Vampiro like this one, myself included. He does come with that ICP makeup head. Get that out of here. I'm not an ICP guy. But we do got that one coming. Laredo Kid, if you're into a luchador, a very exquisite looking luchador. You got Laredo Kid, and then you got Taya Valkyrie coming. She even comes with a staple gun. Use that with your death matches. Share whatever you want to do with that staple gun, but we are getting her as part of that line. So those are coming sooner rather than later. Once again, I'm thinking, I don't know. I thought they were supposed to be here by now. Maybe it's end of summer. We'll see what happens, but we got those coming very, very soon. But now we got to turn our attention to the retro wrestling figures. Heck of a lot of retro wrestling news every single week, and this week, absolutely no different here. But we did get some news from Epic Toys, and of course, Epic Toys killing it. We unboxed the British Bulldogs, Demolition, Powers of Pain fairly recently on the channel. Well, their next wave officially going up for pre-order here in about a week or so. It is going to be Bobby Heenan. It is going to be Buck Zumhoff. No, we better not get a Buck Zumhoff. Boris Zukov. We are getting Atsushi Onita, and then, of course, Eddie Guerrero. All 4 figures look absolutely fabulous. Those got to be must-have pickups there. We also saw there's going to be a limited, I believe, 1 of 1,500 Bobby Heenan with different arms, a little bit different there, and, of course, different coloring, a variant, chase, whatever you want to call it. But another Bobby Heenan figure. You can never have enough Bobby Heenan figures if you're somebody like me, so I'm here for that as well. Looking very good. But then they threw a little teaser out there. It sounds like Series 5. We're getting one of my all-time favorites. Watch out for the backdrop driver. It is my boy, Dr. Death Steve Williams. Man, oh man, one of the just most brutal guys back in the All Japan days. Loved watching him in All Japan. Check out some of those. Check out the backdrop driver. I thought that was the most deadly move I'd ever seen in my entire life when I was in junior high. I'll never forget seeing that for the first time. Just couldn't believe what I was seeing. But I'm here for a Dr. Death. Looks amazing. They also said, hey, we have signed Vader. We got Vader coming in the future. And I know some people have said, well, we got a Mattel Vader. That's a good WWF Vader, but I'm hoping this is our Japan, WCW, NWA Vader. We're going to get the whole Mastodon helmet. We're going to put that thing on. I hope it has all the bells and whistles that we want with a Vader figure in the retro style line. So this one could be a sleeper. Would love to see this as a big deluxe package. We'll see what happens. They're doing it with DDP. I guess they would probably do it with Vader as well. So that looks really good. And then they announced something called Loobs. And Mark Summers, I know you have a lot of interest and a lot of experience with Loobs. So I thought maybe you could chime in. You can come sit here if you want to talk about it. No? Okay, Mark Summers is quiet. He says the only lube he talks about is on the physical challenges on Double Dare. And occasionally on Unwrapped. Okay, he said he went to the KY factory for Unwrapped one time. And they unwrapped some of that, and that was some lube he talked about. But we are getting Loobs, and I'm not sure if I'm sold on the name, but it is a play on the Galoob name, of course, as you can imagine here. And if you were a kid in the early 90s collecting the WCW Galoob line, it's near and dear to your heart. It's not my favorite retro line, but I respect it. I enjoyed it. I played with it as a kid. So I'm here for the Loobs. It'll be interesting to see who they sign. But speaking of Galoobs, speaking of Loob, speaking of Mark Summers and Todd McFarlane from the couch, we did see Top Rope Collectibles. We talked about them last week on the channel. We said, hey, there's this new toy line coming, and we fully assumed they were Galoob style. All but confirmed this week. Galoob style figures coming from Top Rope Collectibles. PN News and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff going to be the 2 first people in the line. A lot of people looking for PN News and Galoob back in the day. Mr. Wonderful kind of fits in there. Be very interested to see who else they sign. I'm guessing maybe a Paul Roma could be in there. Wouldn't be shocked to see another Arn Anderson now that he's not with AEW anymore. Could we see Arn Anderson in a lot of these toy lines going forward? I'd be interested to see who they get in these Galoob style lines. I'm really hoping that they stick to guys that should have got Galoobs back in the day that they have access to. Wasn't Adam Bomb the Night Stalker? You could do something off of that possibly. I would like to see stuff like that instead of getting current day talent in the Loob. And if they do that down the line. That's what I would say. But man, if you're into the Loob style figures, you're finally saying this week, my time has come. The wrestling figure gods have finally answered what I wanted. I'm getting Loob style figures here in 2024, 2025. What is time? What is Loob really at the end of the day? We'll see what happens. So we'll stay close to the top rope collectibles in the future. But we're not done with the retro wrestling figures. KWK, the amazing Mantar figure that we unboxed on the channel. I love that figure, and I want to see a helmet like that with Vader and Mastodon from Epic Toys. I hope there's something like that. But he did show off images of the Conquistadors. A lot of controversy around those Conquistadors. All that's taken care of. Those Conquistador guys, they took those checks and they ran with it. But we're ready for Conquistador figures. Can't wait to see those in hand here, but they look very, very good from the glamour shots, I do believe. And then we got to turn our attention over to Mitch, of course, over Grapplers and Gimmicks. Always a lot of news every single week. He keeps pumping it out, pumping it out. Well, this week, Macho Man #2 in the retro line. Looking a lot like the old school Hasbro Macho Man in the cowboy hat and the fringe and stuff. We're getting another one of those. I don't think he's totally settled on what gear colors to put. And this is one of those looks where you could put 15 different Macho Man, 15 different variants on this look. And I have to assume that's what's going to happen in the future. But we'll stay tuned to see what the next Macho Man is from the Grapplers and Gimmicks. We also saw Al Snow Retro. We knew about this a while back. We did see pretty images of this one. And then we saw Sean Mooney and Lord Alfred Hayes. Is this going to be a 2-pack? It looks like it might be a 2-pack possibly. But they got their headsets on. Once again, got to get the most out of your molds, as we do know. But the big news this week was we saw Kurt Fuller a couple of weeks ago in this Regium line, whatever you want to call it. We got Al Snow coming, and this looks good, and to me it looks kind of like a Mattel Basic. However, it looks like there's no knee articulation on this one, and I don't mind that for Kurt Fuller, and I don't mind that for managers and announcers. Maybe they don't need it, but I feel like Al Snow needs knee articulation, so it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. See how receptive people are if it does not have knee articulation. I can see people jumping out of it at that point. So we'll see what ends up happening there. I'm anxious to see what else comes from the Grapplers and Gimmicks line here in the future. So we did get some of that. But that's it for wrestling this week. A busy week. No Mattel, though. I think they're holding everything back now for San Diego Comic-Con, or at least the majority of stuff. I'm sure we'll get a few announcements here and there, but they're going to have the big one there in July. Expecting to see Steiner Ultimate Editions there. And I got a very good idea what I do think will be the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And I really do believe, and I don't know anything, but it is the 40th anniversary of Hulkamania. I have a guess, which I think is going to be, I think it will be a Hulk Hogan figure. And I think it'll be just like the one we got from Jakks Class Superstars back in the day. It'll be Hulk Hogan in the tuxedo with the ripped sleeves. I think that is going to be the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I don't know anything. That's just what I'm throwing out there. That's my speculation. 40 years of Hulkamania. You got to have a Hulkamania one. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's easy enough for them to do. And it makes sense as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the future comes true from this table right here, or it's something totally different. Either way, I'll be excited for it, I'm sure. Can't wait to see what happens San Diego Comic-Con weekend. So stay tuned for that. But now we turn our attention to some non-wrestling news. And NECA coming in extra hot. And I think we saw this for the first time. It was either at PowerCon or San Diego Comic-Con last year. It was NECA Dracula Christopher Lee edition. And if my dad was here, he'd say, flipping the table up, I'm out of here. My dad's anti-Hammer horror. Anti-Hammer, he's only Universal guy. But we are getting Christopher Lee here. I'm here for that. I'm here for Christopher Lee. I love the looks of this one. This one looks absolutely fabulous. Can't wait to get this and unbox this on the channel. More to come. I think it said it was shipping in like July or something. So you know I'm here for it. You know I'm here for that. And then we did see from NECA coming in hot on Friday, an American Werewolf in London 2-pack. So you get kind of the guys out there in the fields, I guess the fields they were in. I want to say the woods, but I think it was more the fields. How they looked there, and then when they were all tore up and all zombified, I guess, ghostified, whatever you want to call it. A 2-in-1 2-pack, $69.99, a little expensive, but you do get 2 figures with that. You can put that with the big old werewolf, which we unboxed on the channel, 2 years ago? Something like that. But that is looking really good from the NECA horror variety. Sounds like that 2-pack will be out just in time for Halloween. All Halloween. Shout out to it. Speaking of Halloween, not really, but we got Super 7 Ultimate, the worst line back again. We're getting the Robot Reaper and the other guy. Fire and Ice, we're calling this one here. I don't know. I forget their technical names here. But it is getting the most out of your molds. It is a repaint of 2 prior versions of the Worst. I guess if you missed out on those old ones, you could get this one. I don't know if I'm deep enough in the Worst line to pick both of these up. This could be one of those ones if for whatever reason, and we're not going to see a lot of that this year. We're already not seeing it from Super 7 going to clearance and deep slashed prices. But if we do, I might pick these up around the holidays. If I can get them for 25 bucks each, something like that, I might dive into the Worst. We'll see what ends up happening. But I feel like I already have these. It's just a simple repaint. If it was a totally new figure, totally new mold, I'd probably be a little bit more excited. But it is just getting the most out of your molds. It is a straight up repaint right there. And then the Marvel Legends team came through this week with a little bit of an announcement, but a big figure, a big expensive figure. It is the Hulkbuster, about 60 bucks. It's a big hunk of plastic, of course, as you can imagine. But we are getting Tony Stark head that you can put, which looks really cool as well. But the Hulkbuster coming in extra hot here in the next couple of months. Pre-orders, all the usual places you guys know. Hit Big Bad Toy Store, link in the description below. DJC Collectibles, of course, and Entertainment Earth. Those are the ones I shop at. How about that? How about that? But Hulkbuster coming in extra hot. Pick him up if you want, or pass. Choose your own adventure there. And then we're going to go and finish it off with a little bit of Todd McFarlane. And Todd McFarlane coming in extra hot this week with a glow-in-the-dark Killer Croc. Oh, Todd McFarlane, what are you doing to me? I love glow-in-the-dark figures. I already have this Killer Croc with that glow-in-the-dark gimmick. But I'll probably wait for a deal. It's all about getting a deal if you can. A little of that long game. Patented, of course, 2020 here on this channel. It is a long game item being Amazon. They usually restock. They usually have it. I'm probably going to wait it out. Get Killer Croc down the road. But it looks good. You know I'm a sucker for a glow-in-the-dark figure. You know that. But we also saw a Batmobile, a Tumbler. It is from one of the latest Batman movies, of course. We get a black one with Lucius Fox. We get a cream-colored one with Nobody, and they're both exclusives. I don't know. I don't know if I need any more Batmobiles, especially the more modern takes on those. But those are up for pre-order right now. Of course, Amazon for one, Entertainment Earth, the rest of the business for everything else there. So Todd McFarlane coming in hot, even on the holiday week. He's not messing around. He's sticking the Batman stuff out there. He's sticking out the Killer Croc. He's getting it all out there. He's putting it all out on the table. And put some of that away from the table there if you could, please, Todd. But a lot going on with McFarlane all the time, as we do know. And I guess one final thing, it looks like we're going to get an old school re-release of the Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Technodrome. We're getting that re-release. That's going to be pretty cool. I think it's going to be $80 is what it sounds like. Amazon exclusive, coming out in June. I think I'll have to pick that up. I never had that back in the day. Wasn't even an option for me. I was too far into other lines to get that far into the Turtles line. But would have loved to have it, of course, as a kid. But it is coming out for those that missed it. And those that have always wanted it, now you finally get your chance. Can we get a G.I. Joe classified aircraft carrier while we're at it? Probably not. Probably not. But that is the toy news of the week this week. Fairly busy, but it is a holiday week, so a little bit slower than some weeks. But a lot of good news here. Some interesting stuff, to say the least. But now, we got to turn our attention to the album of the week. All right, time for Album of the Week. And Album of the Week this week comes from one Kerry King of Slayer. Slayer, one of the all-timers of thrash bands, one of the all-timer heavy metal bands of all time. That's why they're an all-timer. But Kerry King did release his first solo album this week. It is, of course, From Hell I Rise. And I guess he kind of does. Arised out of Slayer into his own thing here. And it sounds like Slayer will never record again. But they said they'd never tour again. And here we go. We got a couple of shows this summer. They say that's it. Until the next big paycheck, I guess. But Kerry King going it solo. And if you like Slayer, especially Slayer the last couple of albums, guess what? You're probably going to like this one here, as it just really sounds like Kerry King's Slayer, except he's got a different singer. Tom, of course, not a part of it. But you got Mark Ozweda, I never know how to pronounce the last name, but from Death Angel, another favorite band from the thrash era. Still going hot, and Death Angel better now than they've ever been, if you ask me. So he's got Mark on vocals here, so it does feel a little Death Angel-y at times, but you feel a lot of the time Mark is just kind of channeling his inner version of Tom Araya from Slayer, so it really feels like a continuation of Slayer, as it would with Kerry King leading the charge right here, which he's really doing when Jeff Hanneman kind of left the band, and we know all that whole circumstances there. Been an interesting one. And also you got Paul Bostoff on drums, so another Slayer member. He's probably been in Slayer longer than Dave Lombardo at this point. So if you like Slayer, you're probably going to like this a whole lot. It is pretty easy. No real new ground broken, anything like that. It just feels like a continuation of Slayer, modern Slayer, as far as I'm concerned. Definitely worth a listen. I'll probably give it another spin this weekend. Didn't absolutely blow me away, but it was worth a listen. So we'll leave it at that. Album of the week, From Hell I Rise, Kerry King. So there it is. That's the album of the week. What was your album of the week? What was your exciting toy news of the week? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell, as we got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over on Patreon. Patreon, the best way to support this channel. Get in before it's too late on the Roddy Piper giveaway. A lot going on Patreon every single day. Appreciate the support over there. Appreciate the support at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Big sale at Pro Wrestling Tees Memorial Day weekend. Pick up a Kyle Peterson t-shirt. Get the Turtle Anxiety shirt. Or get a Terry Funk t-shirt. One or the other will do you real good. Check out Pro Wrestling Tees. And of course, don't forget social media. SirPaul64 on the X is where you're going to find me. _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and Instagram is where you're going to find me as well. So there it is. That's the toy news of the week. And you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way into a Memorial Day weekend.